All right, let's take a trip back in time. Imagine, picture this, the Roaring '20s. Jazz music is just, it's everywhere. And flapper dresses, they're swirling on those dance floors.
Oh, yeah.
America, I mean, everyone's optimistic after the war. The economy's just booming.
Yeah.
And everyone wants a car. It's the hot new thing.
Right.
But there's a catch. All those cars, well, they need oil.
Yeah.
And lots of it. The oil industry, they're seeing dollar signs, everywhere.
Of course, yeah. But there's another side to this.
Oh.
A conservation movement. It's starting to gain some traction. They're pushing back against, just using up all our natural resources without, any thought.
It's a clash, right, between like progress, growth, and protecting the environment.
Exactly. This is a story that keeps popping up again and again throughout history. And, well, it's at the heart of what we're talking about today, the Teapot Dome scandal.
Okay, so back then, you had President Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah.
He was like all about conservation.
Big conservationist.
Yeah, and he set aside millions of acres of federal land.
Mm-hmm.
Included in that land, some very valuable oil reserves. These were meant for the Navy, for future conflicts.
National security.
Exactly, to
Yeah.
keep the country safe. But guess who had their eyes on those reserves?
Oh, who else? The oil barons. Guys like Edward Doheny, Harry Sinclair, and, Jake Hayman.
These are the big guys, right?
Oh, yeah, they were like the rock stars of the oil world.
So they see these oil reserves and think this is their ticket to even more wealth and power.
Absolutely.
And they knew who to target to get it. Warren G. Harding, senator from Ohio.
Very charming.
Yeah, but maybe not the sharpest political minds.
That's one way to put it.
Okay, so one of these oil men, Jake Hayman, with Sinclair's money backing him up, pretty much made sure Harding got the presidential nomination.
This wasn't just a friendly, hey, I like this guy. This was a, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of deal.
A quid pro quo.
Exactly. Hayman was promised the position of Secretary of the Interior.
The person in charge of those oil reserves.
The very same. It's a classic example of how money can, well, influence politics. Something we still see today.
It makes you think, doesn't it? Anyway, there's a twist. Before Harding could take office, Hayman is murdered.
Murdered, yeah.
A whole other story for another time, maybe.
Yeah.
But now the Secretary of the Interior position is open. So Harding convinces this guy, Albert Fall, a senator, to take the job. Fall was known for being pro-business. He really believed in using natural resources.
Exploiting, some might say.
And Harding kind of hinted that there might be some compensation if Fall played along.
I bet there was.
So enter Albert Fall, our main character in this story of intrigue and corruption. And he doesn't waste any time.
Like a business.
His first move, he transfers control of those Navy oil reserves to the Interior Department.
Bold move.
He tries to justify it by saying, other wells nearby are stealing the oil.
Drainage, he called it.
Drainage. Sounds like a pretty flimsy excuse to me.
It was. A lot of people saw right through it.
Okay, so now Fall has control. And he starts making secret deals with Doheny and Sinclair to lease them the land. Doheny, he gets the Elk Hills and Buena Vista reserves. These were in California. And he gives Fall a loan, $100,000.
Wow.
Let's be honest, that was a bribe, plain and simple.
Straight up, Doheny wasn't expecting that money back. It was the price of doing business.
And then Sinclair, he gets the Teapot Dome Reserve in Wyoming. And his investment, $233,000, paid straight to Fall's ranch.
Wow.
Investment. That's a creative way to say bribe. Fall is playing a dangerous game, trying to keep everything hush-hush, hoping to get those contracts signed before anyone notices what's going on.
Well, good luck with that. Rumors always have a way of getting out.
And they did. They reached a guy named Albert Lasker, a friend of President Harding. Lasker was, he knew how things worked in Washington.
Savvy.
Yeah, and he was worried. He knew this could be a huge scandal, something that could bring down the whole administration.
And he tried to warn Harding, right?
Yeah, he did. He went straight to Harding and laid it all out, explained how bad this could be, what Fall was doing.
And what did Harding do?
Harding, well, he didn't want to believe it. Whether he was loyal to Fall or just, didn't want to deal with it, he basically ignored Lasker's warnings.
That's a big risk.
A huge risk.
Yeah.
Harding seemed to think he could just look the other way. But he had no idea. This was just the beginning. The Teapot Dome scandal was about to blow up, and it would change everything. Okay, so we've got Fall spinning this web of lies. Harding's kind of in the dark, and Lasker's raising the alarm. But eventually, the truth always comes out, right?
Right, and in this case, it was the press. Those journalists, they were the ones who really started digging into all these shady
It
dealings.
was like the golden age of investigative journalism back then, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. These reporters, they were relentless. I mean, they wanted the truth and they weren't afraid to go after anyone, even a powerful government official like Albert Fall.
So what happens next? What does Fall do? Does he try to, like, cover everything up?
Of course he tries. He tries to stonewall the whole investigation, claiming executive privilege, refusing to testify. He even destroyed documents.
Wow, he really didn't want to get caught. But did it work?
No, it was a losing battle. There was just too much evidence against him.
What kind of evidence are we talking about?
Well, the press, they uncovered those loans and investments that Fall got from Doheny and Sinclair. Remember those?
Yeah, the $100,000 loan and the $233,000 investment.
Well, the details were really bad for Fall. There was no collateral, no paperwork, no interest payments. It was obvious these weren't real business deals.
So they were just straight up bribes.
Exactly. It was so blatant. And as the public started learning about all of this, they got really angry. I mean, they felt betrayed, like their own government was being used for someone's personal gain.
And what about Harding? Did he finally realize what was happening?
Well, Harding's reaction is really interesting. Publicly, he kept defending Fall. But behind the scenes, he started to distance himself.
So he knew the scandal was a problem.
Oh, yeah. He knew it could be a disaster for him politically. He was trying to protect himself.
But was it too late?
Pretty much. The scandal was just getting bigger and bigger. It was front page news everywhere. Congress launched their own investigations. It was closing in on Fall from all sides.
So what happened to Fall in the end? Did he resign?
He did. He eventually resigned, but not without a fight. He tried every legal trick in the book to delay things.
But a pressure was too much, right?
Right. In the end, he had to step down.
But resigning doesn't mean you're free and clear, does it?
Nope, not at all. The Senate, they weren't done. They launched a big investigation. They wanted to get to the bottom of the whole thing. And after years of legal battles and political maneuvering, Fall was finally convicted of bribery.
Wow, convicted. He was the first cabinet member in U.S. history to be found guilty of a felony while in office.
Yes, it was a landmark case, a victory for the idea that everyone is accountable to the law, no matter how powerful they are.
The scandal really shook things up in Washington, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. It forced people to confront the reality of corruption in government and the influence of wealth and power.
So, justice was served in the end. But what about Doheny and Sinclair? The guys who bribed Fall. Did they get away with it? So Fall is convicted, a big moment in history. But what about the oil guys? Doheny and Sinclair, did they just, get off scot-free?
Well, not quite. It's complicated. Their cases went on for years and years. Doheny, for example, he was actually found not guilty of bribery.
Really? He got away with it?
Yeah, he was acquitted. But the whole thing, the scandal, I mean, it still cost him. His company, they had to give back the Elk Hills Reserve to the government.
Oh, wow. So he didn't go to jail, but he lost a lot of money, a lot of what he'd gained.
Exactly. A big financial hit. And Sinclair, he was in even more trouble.
He seemed to be more deeply involved, yeah.
He refused to talk to Congress, wouldn't cooperate with their investigation.
He thought he was untouchable, huh?
Yeah, he thought he was too powerful. Bad move. He ended up being found guilty of contempt of Congress.
So he did go to jail, even though he didn't get convicted of bribery.
Yep. He served a short sentence, but still. It was a win for holding powerful people accountable. And the whole Teapot Dome thing, it wasn't just about those specific deals. It became a symbol of, corruption, cronyism, all the bad stuff that was happening in the Harding administration.
It really tarnished Harding's legacy, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, even though he wasn't directly involved, his name is forever tied to this scandal.
Yeah, there's no getting around that. And I think, on a larger scale, it really damaged people's trust in government.
Showed how power could be abused.
Exactly, how private interests can, influence those in office. And it's something that still resonates today.
Oh, absolutely. This whole story, it feels so relevant now. I mean, think about the influence of big donors in politics. The way business and government are, intertwined.
Yeah, it's like history is repeating itself.
The Teapot Dome scandal. It's a reminder that we need to be careful. We need a free press, to hold those in power accountable. We need ethical standards in government. And, we need people to be informed and engaged.
We can't just sit back and assume that everything will be okay. We all have a responsibility to participate in our democracy.
Yeah, we can't be complacent. We have to be skeptical, ask questions, demand transparency, and if we see something wrong, we have to speak up.
Exactly. That's how we prevent another Teapot Dome. And, it's important to remember that some good things came out of the scandal, too.
Oh, like what?
Well, for one thing, there were reforms. They strengthened conflict of interest laws, and there was more oversight of government contracts.
So it wasn't all bad.
Right. The scandal forced people to admit that there were problems, systemic problems, that allowed this corruption to happen, and they started to put safeguards in place to try and stop it from happening again.
It shows that even when things are really bad, the system can still work. The truth came out. People were held accountable, and they made changes to prevent it from happening again.
Exactly. It's a story of hope, really. We can't let ourselves become cynical. Teapot Dome scandal, yeah, it was a bad time, a dark chapter in American history, but it also shows how resilient our democracy can be.
And it reminds us that we can make a difference. So as you go about your day, think about this. What can you do, even in a small way, to make things better, to fight for what's right? How can you contribute to a more just and fair society? Those are questions worth thinking about. And who knows, maybe those thoughts will lead to actions that can help prevent another Teapot Dome.